What's up, my YouTube family? Now, you guys are probably wondering where this guy go. Well, I had to take a mental break. I went swimming and just took time off. Didn't look at analytics, didn't look at the views, didn't look at anything like that. And as I promised, the video is going to be about if you have no experience in sales, whether if you are looking for a job, and I'm going to start with interviews. So let's get right into it. Now, looking for a job, I know it's super hard, and you want the job, you like the company, you like the models, and you go into the interview and you're very desperate. Now, the owner or the interviewer is going to pick up on that, and they're going to understand that you need this job. Now, you want to go in there with an indifference, like letting them know that you're interviewing them, because ultimately the interview is seeing if you fit in with that company, their model, and what they're doing. Don't go in out of desperation looking for a check or looking for money, and then pick the wrong job, and then later find out that it was not for you. Okay, now this is a complete freestyle. I promised you guys I would make a video on this, and here I am. I also practice what I preach. I took time away. I went swimming. I walking, disconnected from the phone completely. Got terribly sunburned. Got exhausted. Got dehydrated, rejuvenated, and now I'm back. So somebody that's starting off in sales, that if you're already in sales and you're a trainee and you're trying to build a team to get to your next promotion, whatever the case. So it starts off with the handshake. In business we call it the dead fish handshake. You got to be a firm handshake, eye contact, as far as that, and that also relates to the customer as well. Your posture, your excitement, your facial features. Your customer is reading you within the first 30 seconds that you interact with them. Whether if you have an earring on, a lot of people are old school. They'll look at an earring and say, "Oh, this guy's such and such." Okay, so even though in this society, tattoos are accepted, earrings, piercings, they're all accepted, but an old school person that you're trying to sell will not buy from you, just because of their experience and what they consider and what they've seen in their life. So starting off, like I always emphasize KISS, keep it stupid simple. Now, starting off in sales, I know as a sales rep or a trainee, the person above you is going to flood you with information about the products and about the competition and about how it works. So, say for instance, if it's TVs, they're going to tell you about the pixel rate, the refresh rate, and all this information that you have to have when the customer asks that question. Now, if you're pouring out all this information, you're just breathing commission like a dragon, and that customer more than likely, and if you've been in this position, you know what I'm talking about. You're gonna say, "Let me think about it," and that's not the real problem, and that's not the real rebuttal. The rebuttal is they don't trust you, or you give them too much information that they have to look up. So there's three types of buyers. There's an impulse, there's a researcher, and then there's just a thinker. Now you can turn all of those into an impulse buyer, which you really want. Now, I don't mean an impulse buyer by persuasive language or trying to lie to them. No, give them a presentation, compare and contrast what they have, what the value of your product is going to give them, and if it doesn't fit, let them go. Because the more time that you waste with a customer, and you realize, and you're able to look and see if they're just researching, give them the information that they need and let them walk off. And now, if the presentation doesn't make sense to them, and if it doesn't fix any problems, let them walk off. Give them your card. Tell them, hey, when you're ready, come back and see me. That will generate more customers and more clients to you, rather than just focusing on just grabbing that customer and forcing them to sign the contract. Okay, so now when you're in the field, you always got to look busy. Don't just stand there and just look for customers. Like, no, look busy. Look at your watch. Stay away from your phones. But then when you lock eyes within 15 feet, lock eyes, smile, and then once they get towards you, use the international sign for stop. Hey, excuse me, quick question. And then start from there, whatever your product is. And then from there, you got to build rapport, which is introducing yourself, find out a little bit about themselves, about them as well, who you are. Because at the end of the day, you're just giving out information, and they're going to go to corporate and they're going to sign up with them with all the information that you gave them, and you don't get no money off of that. And like, money isn't everything to me. I hate it personally, but the world, that's what we're after. We're after money, financial freedom, whatever the case. Okay, so once you build rapport, basically a 5 minute friend. And also, what helps is tonality. Tonality. I think I said that right. Is how you speak and different. So, like, say for instance, customer John. Today is we're actually doing a presentation right now. I'm sorry, we're actually giving away this, this, and this. Now, when you switch that tonality, they're gonna get more. They're gonna get attracted more and just be like, okay, this guy's telling me secrets. Now, there's a lot of topics we're covering here. I'm trying to keep it simple. So while you're in the presentation too, use the customer's name, even as much as it feels weird. John. So you said this, John. Also, this, John, this, because John is the same name that their grandparents call them, what their mother called them, what their friends and family, children call them, so they feel more comfortable with you. Now, I'm not doing this in a malice way, because if you're an honest salesman and you're really just trying to, give a product that benefits people, all this that I'm giving you, it's gonna apply. It's worked for me. It's worked for my trainees. It's worked for people that I've just gave advice to, whether if it's a warehouse job or whether if it's sales. Um, so I'm gonna leave that for sales. That I don't want to pour in too much information, because what I've learned is if I pour too much, it's gonna be like, oh, that's too much. I can't do sales, whatever. Okay, so say you're at a 9 to 5 and you're at a warehouse, or you're just a receptionist or whatever the case may be. Don't just be a 9 to 5 worker. Do your job, yes, of course, but observe your managers, observe the supervisors, observe how they're doing things, and asking questions. How are you submitting this for inventory, or how are you submitting this for supplies? How are you doing this? Because a promotion when you're at a 9 to 5, it's not just gonna come to you. They're not just gonna say, hey, you know what? We got an available space for you. Come on up. No, it doesn't work like that. Most companies, they promote within, and that's the companies that I like the most, are the companies that promote within. So when the position comes available, and usually it always does, because the person above you or the supervisor, they get offered a different position or a higher position, or they go to another company that with a higher pay. So now there's a vacant seat. So you, depending on your company, you write recommend, basically a letter saying that you want to fill that spot, and the knowledge that on how you could execute that job, and they would put you at the top of the pile instead of bringing in, let's say for instance, if they can't find any managers or somebody to fill that spot, they'll bring somebody else in from a different state or a different store that's running correctly by them, and then they'll take the place. So that's something that happens a lot. I've seen it at supermarkets. I've seen it at warehouses where I go and I visit, and then I see multiple managers coming and going, coming and going, coming and going. And the reason that they come and go is because, since they don't know the employees look at them like they don't like them. They don't know who they are. They start firing, and that's another corporate tactic of somebody coming in and cleaning house without knowing anybody, without emotions, and they won't really care. They don't know you. They don't know you have children. They don't know that you have bills to pay, or you have this, you have to pay babysitters, or you have to leave at a certain time. They don't care. They're going by what the company wants, and they come in. They don't know, and they don't really give a shit about you. Um, we're at 8 minutes 35 seconds. I just want to thank everybody that tuned in. Sorry for the delay on taking time. I know I promised this video, I think a while back already, but I'm kind of getting tired of the shorts, because it doesn't give me enough time to explain everything. But yeah, I'm practicing what I preach now. Before, previous, I would just get people out of depression that were in sales or in business, and I would give them all these tactics, and they would apply it, and I wouldn't. I would go home and be miserable. But now I'm actually practicing what I preach. Like I said, I disconnected, didn't even look at analytics, didn't look at the views, which I don't really care about. I didn't look at the subs, I can give two shits about, because I know whoever's watching this they know my intentions are pure, and it's for the greater good of people, of everyone, to live a better life. Especially nowadays with the economy and everything, and prices going soaring through the roof, and pay wages are not changing. Right now all I hear is complaints about, we're in a hellhole, where the pay structures change and they use a new system, whether if it's CRM or whatever new systems that are out. So yeah, I mean, that's just the basics of sales. Interviews, interviews is not for you to go begging for a job. It's for you to be indifferent and say, okay, you know, I take everything in consideration. I have another appointment with another job at such and such time, and that leaves the owner will more than likely give you a call back and follow up with you and say, hey, you know, how's that job search going? When in the back of their minds they really want to hire you, but they mastered the facial features to not show excitement and kind of look at you like, maybe, I guess, yeah, you fit the qualifications. Also, too, when I used to do interviews, when they would hand me a resume, I would crumble it up and I would throw it out and I would say, "That's what you want me to see." And I think I mentioned this in previous videos. And then I would just break down the barrier on who they really are, and as far as like how they talk, what neighborhood they're from, do they pay bills, do they live with their parents, you know, what are they trying to do with the company, what do they ultimately want out of it. I know I use the word ultimately a lot. I need to change that. Whoa, that fell. Yep, that says adventure, but I tried taping it, but whatever. Something that I found amongst other things, and you know, to go back to, you know, turning cash to trash is, you know, I found a whole bunch of other things, you know, like a MacBook laptop and a whole bunch of other stuff. But okay. So you know, this is just for, you know, just for information, just to help you guys. I have no obligation. I have nobody, no sponsorship. There's nobody telling me to do this. I'm doing this on my own accord. Um, so this just to help you guys, you know, better yourselves in life and be in a better financial state. Whether if you're unemployed, you're depressed, you know, you don't really want to go out and look for jobs anymore. You know, you keep on finding the same thing over and over. Companies tell you that you're overqualified, and where I'm at is the first time I've ever heard in my life where I went to go apply for certain positions and they told me you're overqualified. Now, overqualified to me, my opinion, is that they're afraid that I'm going to take their job because of my experience and my resume. And my resume has not been updated in years, but yet I was still able to find positions and opening up offices and stuff like that because a true owner can see the grit in my resume since the age of 13 when I started working for the Chicago Tribune doing door to door, not just handing out papers, doing door to door sales, kind of like Mark Cuban. And that is the hardest thing to overcome. And I did it for, I think, about 2 years till about 15 around there. And I was training even then. My third grade teacher was the one that gave me the opportunity and hired me because she seen I was different in school and I would always argue with the teachers. Oh, that fell. Okay, so I mean, she gave me that opportunity, and she was an amazing. I don't know if she's still alive. Her name is June Morsi, a great teacher. I'm so grateful for her and the other people that, you know, pulled me to the side and said, hey, you know what, this is how you do this, and this is this, and that. All right, so guys, I'm gonna end the video. It's about going about 13 minutes. I know the attention span, like I mentioned in my shorts and everything like that. You know, they're not in they're not in order. But if you look at them, they're all gonna make sense, and they're all gonna combine. And if you line them up, and if you take the time and the hard work, it's gonna work for you. Now, if you're looking for an easy way out, if you're looking for one video to apply and think, oh yeah, I'm gonna take this video and that's not gonna work for you. You need to put in the hard work. You know, like we all have 24 hours in the day. Now, when you might ask yourself, you know, why this guy has a billionaire, why is this guy a millionaire? We all have the same 24 hours in the day. It just depends on how we use them, as far as if we're gonna watch TV or are we gonna. No, I'm not. I'm not saying it's bad or anything like that because if your mental health is distraction and you love comedy like I do, and sometimes I have to unwind and watch some comedy specials or, you know, go outside and walk. That's fine, but at the end of the day, when you look at your check or you look at your bank account and then you're wondering, I could barely make it, then you start complaining, you know, the only blame is yourself. So get out there and just do it. You know, I'll end the video with that.